Hello to all my people, and if you're watching live, checking us out on YouTube, or listening on your favorite podcast provider, you are most definitely my people. Welcome to another episode of Botched Spots and Chair Shots. I am still your host, a chef by trade and a mark by choice. I am the Will Gray, and joining me today, ladies and gentlemen, he was just here on trivia. Did you win trivia on Thursday?
Oh, God, no, I did not win trivia.
Second place on trivia on Thursday.
Sure, we'll say that.
Who won trivia? Did Mike win trivia? No, Pineapple Jack won trivia on Thursday. Pineapple Jack won trivia.
Pineapple Jack won, yeah.
No, Mike says
he's not here, so I will accept the award for him.
Oh, that's right. Mike won trivia. Pineapple Jack came in second.
Well, anyways, he is the host of the Kings of the Rings podcast, and he is one of the minds over at the Wrestle Addict Radio. He is our boy, King Ricky Rose. King Ricky, welcome back, sir. How are you?
I am good. I'm glad to have a day off because, you know, we're doing a Memorial Day little show, so I'm doing well. It was a good weekend of wrestling. A lot to talk about, actually.
Tons of wrestling this weekend. Directly above me on your screen, he is one of the minds of Rivet City Radio and Off the Top Media. He is the host of The Boom on Wednesday nights, one of the co-hosts on Friday Night Review. He's one of the co-hosts on The Table Spot. It's the best beard in wrestling commentary and media. It's our boy Cam G. Cam, how are you?
I'm doing all right, man. Long weekend of wrestling for sure.
It was a long weekend. I was really glad you texted me this morning. Like, he just sent me a message. He was like, hey, you got room for me? And I was like, I didn't even say yes. I just literally sent him the notes from the show and was like 6 p.m. Like, yep, it's yours if you want it. Now, as we turned the corner for the panel, we get into the home stretch here. He is the host of Boyfriend Time and the Wolfpack podcast. He is the co-host of Nerdy News and NXT on Tap. He is here every Sunday with us. If Al is my right hand, everybody's favorite Ginger Ninja Jaxbo is my left. Jax, how are you, brother?
I'm doing fantastic.
It's a good Monday. We don't usually run on Mondays.
Mondays are never good usually, but this seems to be a good Monday.
It was a really unexpected show. Like, we do this every now and then. If there's a pay-per-view on Sundays, like, we'll run on Monday just because we don't want to. You know, like, sometimes you just don't want to. Like, there was a lot to do this weekend, and we watched a lot of wrestling, and then we were like, you know what? Let's just run on Monday before Raw, and then we don't have to worry about it. So
works for me.
That's how it works around here, especially. I say I work on wizard time. I never show up on time or late. I show up precisely when I aim to, just like you know, the wizards on the, you know, the Shire.
I run on CPT usually. Cam knows what that is.
Yeah, I know what that is.
Finally, somebody I can relate to on this show. Jesus Christ!
Right?
Wow! Wow! Okay, I see how it is. You just set it up 6 minutes in. All right, we'll
you're still invited to the cookout, Will, because you're going to be one that's cooking, so it works out.
That's that's usually it. Like, I will accept that role. You know what I mean? Because like, if not only am I invited, but they're like, yo, bro, we're going to need you to man like the smoker and the barbecue. I'm like, that's an honor. I will accept that gladly.
It's the easiest way to gain acceptance.
Absolutely it is, especially for the piece, like, especially for like a melanin deficient hoe like myself. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's true. You are napkin colored usually.
As we get to the home stretch of it, she is perched upon the Iron Throne in the Boss Bitch's corner. She is the Hoba to my Beyonce, the Bonnie to my Clyde. She's the brains behind Rivet City Radio. It's the Boss Bitch, Al. Al, how are you?
I'm good. I'm tired of these storms and tired of these damn cicadas.
Dude, cicadas are everywhere. Does anybody else in the country right now have cicadas? Like,
not yet, at least.
No, I wasn't sure, Cam, that far north, if you would have them. And the same thing for you, Jax, just the opposite direction south. Yeah. I wasn't sure if you would have them.
Share.
What the hell's a cicada?
Sir.
You don't know what a cicada is?
Sir, there's a whole story about this. It's a double batch.
This is a goddamn cicada. They're terrible and they're loud. And
wait, does that say Brentwood? Is that Brentwood, New York?
Nasty little bastards.
No.
It's Brentwood something.
Brentwood, Nashville, Tennessee.
It's one of the.
Yeah.
It's like Brentwood's right down the road from me.
They're like this big, and they chirp real loud, and they fly everywhere.
Yeah. What's up, Virgo? Good to see you. Thanks for
stopping by. Basically, they hatch every 7 years, every 13 years, and every 26 years.
That
And
is correct.
These are 26-year
I didn't know that.
cicadas. They're the biggest and the most annoying.
Not
Virgo
only
is
is that, not only is this the 26-year cicadas, there are 2 cicada classes that birthed this year. So it's like a double. It's like 2007, and I think another one like a little bit earlier on than 2007. Both hatch at the same time, so it's a double batch of cicadas. They die really quickly. They have a party, they screw around, they have like a giant orgy for the summer, and then they leave.
And then they die off.
Yeah.
Virgo is new to Tennessee, so I'm curious to know her take on the cicadas, because there's a ton of them. Depending on where you go in the area, like covered in trees, covered in cars, you can't walk outside without them flying on you. Like tons of them. But
They live their best life, man.
Yeah, just do their
Same
thing.
with mosquitoes, so at least this summer we'll have less mosquitoes.
That is true. Before we get going, I have to appease the algorithmic gods. If you're watching on youtube.com/Rivet City Radio, it is free to like, comment, subscribe, and do all the things. The same for twitch.tv/Rivet City Radio. It's all free to subscribe and stuff. Or no, on Twitch, it's not free to subscribe. That's where we'll get to Amazon and Prime and all of that. We'll talk about that later, though. If you're watching on X, we appreciate it. We've been dry running, like dry humping X the last few weeks, just giving it a shot. So if you're watching on Twitter, give us a shout out. Let us know you're there. And if you're listening to us afterwards, after the fact, like the vast majority of you seem to be doing recently on Apple or Spotify, we have been ranked here recently. So we love you guys. Always remember to like and leave a 5-star review. But we're here now. We're off to the races. Ladies and gentlemen of the panel, what has you pissed off for greatness this week in the world of professional wrestling? All of you have answered this question in the past. Ricky, Cam, one of the two of you should go first, so that way we feel like, we're doing
Proper
the good
hosts.
host thing. Yeah, we're letting our guests go first. That's what we do here. So
Yes.
both of
Equal
you know
opportunity. I love it.
I knew it was
That's
4
what we're here
minutes later. We didn't even make it. You didn't even double the time, Ricky. We got 3 shows together this week, apparently.
I know.
So it's
You're
gonna be a long
coming on
week.
my show tomorrow. It's gonna be great. I guess I'll go first. Jesus. You said like we answered this before, and I'm like, what the hell is it supposed to mean? It's like whatever just has me pissed off for greatness, the good or the bad. I'll take one from both show, or a couple from both shows. The big thing for me taken away from, I guess, King and Queen of the Ring, talk about Queen Nia. Perfect for her. As soon as she made the finals, I was like, this bitch is going to be an absolute menace with that crown. She
What's up, Devin?
Oh, you just put the one in there. Yeah, no, she got the crown. She took the knee to Triple H being the King of Kings, which I thought was like a poetic gesture in of itself. Had her emotional moment. As soon as Kayla got into the ring, she's like, bitch, get out of my face. I was like, perfect, let's go. Like, let's go, Nia. Like, bring back the character, be the most annoying person in all of wrestling with that crown on SmackDown until SummerSlam when Bayley beats her. So,
I honestly think that she will beat Bayley.
if she does, honestly, let's do it. Let's do it.
I wouldn't be mad if she dethroned Bayley.
The last time she was champion, they tried to make her a face, and that was a disaster and a half. Story was great. She just couldn't hold it. She's naturally a heel. So that's King of the Ring. Double or Nothing. Overall, very good show. I could go on and on about Mercedes winning because I'm a giant Mercedes mark. Everybody knows that. So I'll say very, very good match. I'll say that there. The thing that kind of gets me, I was thinking about this when I was out today. The return of MJF. Now, it is great because I was like, oh, he's back. But I looked at him, I was like, all right, dude, I know you're from Long Island. I'm also from Long Island. But the amount of spray tan you put on is appalling to me. You look like 2002 Triple H coming back from the Garden. You have a tattoo that reminds you of those crazy fans that put the tattoo of their team winning like the World Championship or the Super Bowl at the beginning of a season, And then he made the Vince comments. And I was like, I know you've been out, but you haven't been out for this long.
I don't need no New Japan. I don't need no Vince McMahon. MJF made MJF.
I was like, I know, but the kicker of it all, and I go on and on about MJF, like, I loved your return. You probably, if if the booking went a different way, he should have been the 4th member of Team AEW. That would have been poetic for me. I get why they didn't do it. I totally forgot MJF and Adam Cole were a thing, but the kicker for me, have you seen his t-shirt on AEW shop?
Yeah, the Wolf of Wrestling t-shirt.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but what in the Times New Roman was that bullshit? Okay, you have 5 months, you have no artists that can do anything, regardless of the fact that there's already an indie wrestler named Stephen Wolf who is known as the Wolf of Wrestling.
Well, that's the same thing that WWE did with the Yeet stuff, where they had to buy the rights off of or wait for an indie wrestler to let his lapse first. Like,
yeah,
it'll be the same thing. AEW will just buy the rights, or they'll sign him to a contract and take them from him, because Tony Khan's a carny, just like the rest of us.
Tony Khan also has to stop convincing himself during his press conferences, and that's another thing. But that was that was the other thing. That was the thing with the piss. I was like, great, MJF's back. This is awesome for AEW, good for them. But I was like, what is going on? What are you visually telling me, MJF, right now? And the t-shirt, the t-shirt really threw me for a loop. I was like, God damn it!
You whole ass made that in like Microsoft Paint and printed it with a Cricut. Like, you cheap son of a bitch.
It's Microsoft Word at best.
Dude, pro wrestling T is slacking on their designs and their ideas.
Whoever designed that was like, oh fuck, we forgot to make MJF shirt. Somebody throw something together real quick. And they were just like, the Wolf of Wrestling. And that was what we got.
I was like, goodness gracious. But that's all I got for now.
All of them are very viable points. I love it. I got a couple from the chat before the next person goes. AJ says he's pissed off for greatness that Gangrel is back. Does anybody have that same sentiment? Anybody up here upset to see Gangrel in that spot? Shadow says hydrate. Anybody else upset that Gangrel's back on AEW TV?
No, not really.
Not
he
really.
Looked fine. He had a couple of great impaler DDTs. He looked good. I mean, he was gassed after 2 DDTs, but besides that, he was like, he looked fine.
What's up, Dad Hat? Good to see you. I'm just not upset. I'm happy. I know, not upset. I'm happy. Oh, he's the opposite. The same reason mine is. He's not. His pissed off for greatness is Gangrel being back. Like, he's happy about Gangrel being back. I just mistook you because of texting.
Yes.
Cam, Bo, Al, y'all got one?
I got one. I guess from both shows as well. Well, a couple from one show and then just one particular from the other show. So, I guess King of the Ring. I mean, King and Queen of the Ring. I mean, it was an okay event. To me, it just felt like, it was very. I mean, I really didn't have high expectations for King and Queen of the Ring, anyways. It was a very in and out show, just kind of like how they did when they came to Indy for Fastlane. It was very in and out. Like it's like they didn't really. I don't want to use the word effort, but it's just like
B tier pay-per-view. Yeah,
it was B tier, and like I said again, I didn't have high hopes for it anyways. But I mean, they pretty much hit on the points that they were, that it was designed to do. They were focused on crowning King, Queen of the Ring. So, and I'm glad that they have a focus after King, Queen of the Ring, because that was my biggest thing. Is what are they going to do with it afterwards, and besides the monikers and things of that nature. And then my couple from Double or Nothing. Double or Nothing was a spectacular pay-per-view from top to bottom. The main event, however, I just feel like it was something that I kind of seen being the main event over Swerve and Christian Cage, which I kind of have an issue with, just because I like the world title match should be the focus for the main event. I hate those Anarchy in the Arena matches. I really do. But it was a wacky one. I mean, you had somebody get set on fire. You had exploding chairs. You had freaking vehicular manslaughter almost basically in the parking lot. Like it was all over the place. So it was entertaining for what it was, but it's just like, why do we have to keep doing these? Like, it's just too much. I'm looking forward to potentially, hopefully Blood and Guts, because I like Blood and Guts. Blood and Guts is just amazing, and they've put on some good Blood and Guts matches, the few that they've had in AEW. So those are my few. My last one from AEW, Double or Nothing, was the fact that they had the whole MJF return thing. Great thing. Obviously he did his whole basically his Triple H impression with the whole leather jacket or whatever. That was hilarious. But no, it was a great video package. I loved how they showcase all that. It almost looks like as if like maybe he's going to he's evolving into another MJF. Like he's not going to be donning the scarf anymore. He's a more focused, more rugged kind of MJF. I'm looking forward to that, seeing where that goes. The promo itself I thought was great. Maybe a little long, maybe, because I feel like he could have just ended it with, my name is Mac Jacob Freeman and I'm better than you. You know it. Boom. You could have saved the contract status stuff for like Dynamite. You know what I mean? Like we still have 9 more matches to go. Like let's not be up to 3 a.m. watching.
Didn't
this
the main
program.
event go on at midnight?
It was late.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, this is going a little long. He's Ric Flair strutting, he's elbow dropping the devil's mask. Like, okay, where are we going with this or whatever? But I liked how he basically, put the exclamation point on that whole promo with him being him saying that he's the wolf of AEW. I like that. Like all that was fantastic. So I'm curious to see where this goes. I'm hoping that it doesn't result in him versus Swerve yet, because Swerve only has 1 defense and it's very early in his title run thus far. So maybe that's not the move just yet, but yeah, we'll see. Other than that though, those are my gripes from the weekend.
I'm going to go ahead and throw mine in, and I know both of you have had very good critiques on it. And I love both of your opinions. You're both 2 very dear friends of mine. But can't nobody tell me shit because MJF is back on my TV at least every Wednesday right now. So fucking hell, I am hyped for it. The video package of him walking through the mansion and then going in, and you see the suit and the scarf, and he picks up the ring and the dog collar and, all the little pieces of MJF through his career. So Cam is 1,000% right. This is all the best parts from every other version of MJF we've ever gotten coming out now. And it's not about reclaiming gold right away. He'll get the Triple B back eventually. Right now, it's going to be about righting the wrongs that happened over the last year during his title reign. Adam Cole and the Kingdom and all the people that crossed him while he was champion or did him wrong. Like, we're about to see the best version of MJF we've ever seen. And I've been a big supporter since he got in AEW, went back and watched his indie stuff, Creative Pro. Like, the man was destined to be a star. He made the right decision staying in AEW.
The MJF Revenge Tour?
Oh, it's going to be better than the MJF. This is the MJF Eras Tour. That's how big this is going to be. That's how big this is going to be.
Stop it.
The Eras Tour, Ricky. It's the fucking MJF Eras Tour.
Listen, I live on Long Island. I'm around Long Island white girls all the time, and you are fitting in quite well right now.
Wow. I had a bagel with cream cheese for breakfast. If you want me to lean into that stereotype a little bit more.
I mean, congratulations. You didn't get it from Long Island, so I get it. If you ever come up here, I'll give you all the bagels you need. Bagels and pizza.
We're coming up there in September when Lala makes her comeback. We've got to talk about that later in the show too. Before Bo and Al go, Scow says, my pissed off for greatness is TK does not know how to book a show. So many bad booking decisions and never letting anything breathe. It is always, we have to move on to the next segment. What do you guys think about? I personally thought, again, Double or Nothing's their best pay-per-view showing of the year, and it was on par with as big as WrestleMania Night 2 felt to me. And going into it, Scows, I'll put him on blast. He was the one when I said it. He said, Will, how fucking high are you right now? And I was like 6 feet tall, and he was like, that's my point. But I felt genuinely hyped going into it. What do you guys think about TK's bookings decisions and how last night felt, considering how many matches there were, how long this show was? What do you guys think about the way the show was booked?
I think it was booked. I think it was booked pretty well. As opposed to other, especially earlier iterations of any of their pay-per-views, right? I mean, number one, you still had double-digit number of matches, but you didn't have 12 or 13, right? And each one of those matches go 15, 20 minutes. So I felt like the one thing they did really well outside of the booking is, the matches, I felt like they just flowed really well. Like the pay-per-view just had a nice, even flow to me. And that's one thing that you kind of have to do. Like I said, again, when you have, surplus matches, a double-digit number of matches, you don't need to be spending 30 minutes on every single match, you're gonna wear your crowd out. Your crowd's gonna, by the time they get to the main event, the crowd's just gonna be like, I really don't care. Just get me out of this arena. Like,
they're gonna be more gassed than Gangrel was after 2 DDTs.
Exactly. So
great DDTs though.
There were great DDTs.
They were.
So I thought they were pretty good. And I thought it was pretty good in terms of the flow. In terms of actual booking, I think the only real blunder that I felt like was really bad was probably the trios match. Because I feel like Death Triangle should have won that. Because I mean, you put them back together, you get all this hype, and it's just like they're easily one of, if not the best trios team that you have together right now. So that was probably the only thing that, and I kind of saw Juice Robinson coming back after being on for a long time with injury and getting involved in that match. I called it when the bell rung. I was like, yeah, Juice Robinson's probably getting involved in this match. So that was probably the only real booking decision that I really didn't agree with was that. Other than that, I mean, it was pretty solid, I think.
I will say this. I saw this on Twitter because I refuse to call it X as Elon's a psychopath. But somebody compared Juice Robinson to the honeycomb mascot, and I can't unsee it.
Oh my
God. As soon as you said it, I saw it in my head. A little like, yeah, I know exactly who you're talking
crazy
about.
Little troll. Yeah. For me, I was in contact with one of my co-hosts, Kayfabe K. And they were talking about how, like, number one, it was midnight and the main event still hadn't gone on yet. And, it wasn't 13 to 12 matches, but it was still double-digit matches. And most of those matches lasted at least 20 minutes. And some of those matches, I can name about 3, didn't deserve to get that magnitude of a thing. The trios match being one of them, you can put that on TV. This might be unpopular. Moxley versus the Keska could have been the main event of Dynamite and left off that. It's about getting rid of the fluff, and I think it's something in the direction that Mr. Levesque has done. He took a very old school NXT style from it, where it's like your matches are the matches that are your main stories are the ones that deserve to get on the pay-per-view or the premium live event. And going into Double or Nothing, I think they had those, and then they just added a little bit too much. Where you're right, it wasn't enough time to really breathe as well. And then you announce, oh, by the way, it's a triple main event, but all of our main events are one after another, Where I'm of the booking line, because I also play WWE 2K24 GM mode. It's awesome. You gotta go peaks and valleys, or at least you bookend your show. So like your main event and your opener need to be big highlights. And if you have something in the middle, that's got to keep it, because you got to, like, you bring them up, you bring them down, you bring them up, you bring them down, and then you bring them back up one more time. So you end up really on a high note. And I think they lucked out this time around with your triple main events going one after another, because everybody was hyped to see those matches, but it can be a slippery slope if something like steals a show. Ospreay and Roddy Strong, hell of an opener. Like a great opener, and it's hard to try to top that. So for me, it was like the matches were good, they were long, but I think there were too many of them. Some of them did not deserve to be on that card at all whatsoever, because it takes away from some of the other stuff. Granted, it didn't, because it set somebody on fire in the main event and they got lucky, this time. But when your main event's starting at midnight, that's WrestleMania 35. I was there. At some point you're gonna like wrap it up, like Dave Chappelle's Wrap It Up box. You need that. So when it comes to booking their future events, I think they did real good this time. They had all the quality matches, but there are some matches that don't need to be on a big show. Pay-per-view matches have to be earned, especially for your big events.
Bo, what had you pissed off for greatness this week?
The fact that Mercedes Moné is a champion, her first match.
Girl.
Okay. About she no. That's just I saw it on Facebook earlier today. The 3 big signings that Tony Khan made so far are all now champions. Two of those big signings.
Moné, yeah.
all three of them big signings were all made somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
He's not doing what I believe was the original initiative plan for AEW. Younger talent that WWE's looking over to get their shot. You're doing good with a lot of them. MJF, Statlander, Julia Hart's an amazing example. Willow Nightingale is over like fucking Rover.
Agreed.
And just because you sign an ex-WWE wrestler who went to Japan, broke her leg because she can't hang, and you just put Willow and now you got Willow going into this whole thing with Statlander. What's Mercedes going to do? Where's Mercedes going from here? She's going to walk around and shittily dance for the next till the next pay-per-view and do the whole fucking thing with her hands like she's spirit fingers, bitches.
I mean, here's the thing though. By taking
damn, Bo, who hurt you?
By taking the title off of Willow, taking the TBS title off of Willow, she has worked really hard. Don't you think she deserves to have a shot at the main women's championship? She can't do that. Right, but she can't do that holding the TBS title. So they have to take that off of her so that she could be in the main title picture.
But they're not going to put her in the main title picture because now they've got her into this whole
But you don't know if they're going to maybe put that, like, Statlander could fuck with her in that storyline of trying to get at Toni Storm. Like, it could be a two-pronged story. Like, she can still be going after Toni Storm for the main title and also have Statlander fucking her up the whole time.
Yeah, I don't like the fact that you gave the belt to Willow just to get the match for her and Mercedes.
But this is completing the story that her and Mercedes started in New Japan.
It is, but you could have done it without a title. You could have just done it out of respect to that. I beat you already. You have to beat me now.
I could see both sides of it, and I think this is one of those like 6 in one hand and half a dozen in the other situations, because as fans, like, I guess we're in the best situation we could be where we're able to be this nitpicky about it. You know what I mean? Like, that's a really good place to be as wrestling fans.
Yeah.
I also agree, though. I can agree that AEW hasn't been handling the whole stand up on the 10 toes down on the business that the young up and coming independent talent that, everything Bo said. We're not getting that anymore. Pure and simple. I love
ever get it because Jericho put the title on himself like right out of the gate.
Yeah, he was their first world champion.
That was a necessity. You had to create. You had to
have some kind of.
Jericho. You had to make Jericho the first champion.
But then immediately,
Triple H.
He wins the belt, and then who debuts at that first Double or Nothing? Mox. You know what I mean? Like, for every good thing AEW's ever done, there's been an ex-WWE guy standing there. And I know the argument, everybody's an ex-someone. You know what I mean? Like, everybody's worked somewhere before their current job. But if you look at where we were at 4 years ago, the collective we as a wrestling community, with the way AEW was handling things, it was all New Japan, Ring of Honor, and the guys coming through the indies for AEW. Now, 5 years later, it's Mercedes Moné, it's John Moxley, it's, Okada, it's Will Ospreay, and it's all these New Japan and ex-WWE guys. And the focus has shifted. And I don't know if that's good or bad yet.
I mean, more companies is always going to be good.
100% agree with that.
Absolutely. Invisible hand of competition, John Locke. If you want to go, classical thoughts experiments there. But also, AEW shot themselves in the foot. You do not make a crap ton of announcements. Oh, I signed a big star, they're coming. You do not create a television special, which is AEW Dynamite in disguise, called Big Business, in Boston, Massachusetts, and not give, and you're giving into the star power that she's drawn throughout her entire career. Like you couldn't not give her the title. It, like Boss Smith said, it kind of finishes the story. AEW and New Japan are clearly sleeping with each other all the time. Tanahashi showed up on Saturday and did a freaking dance. And stuff like that. So you kind of had to do it to her. You don't spend all that money, you don't make all this hype, and you don't give him a championship. Granted, someone in the comments said that it's not the main titles, which for me I thought it was kind of a misstep. But if you're getting these big signees and you're giving them like your second tier titles, it does give them room to kind of grow and kind of start to create something new in AEW instead of shoehorning them and skyrocketing them to the top. There is kind of a, yes, we know you're a big star, but we're not going to give you everything immediately.
Al, it's to you.
So my piss off for greatness doesn't have anything to do with wrestling, because to be fair, honestly, y'all all took all the things. So my piss off for greatness. So I'm sure y'all have seen it all over TikTok. But Northwest got cast as Simba in The Lion King at the Hollywood Bowl, and there are people bitching about it on TikTok.
Wait, hold on. What?
Yeah, so the Hollywood Bowl is doing like a summer revival of The Lion King.
We're doing plays and shit. Okay.
Yeah. So Northwest is Simba. Okay. Girl can't sing. She can't sing, and she's not a great actress. Okay, fine, whatever.
But it's also community theater for kids. So what's
no, it's adults.
Oh.
This is like real Broadway people. This is not like a kid's play.
Oh, I thought this was just a feel-good community story. Holy shit! No, she's what?
So wait, do they have the rights to The Lion King on Broadway? Because they probably have to get the rights for it, right?
Kanye and the Kardashians are not putting this on. She auditioned and got cast in this role.
Fair.
Yeah, no, okay. I'm saying for the rights to do the show, because anything that's on Broadway for that long and as a big thing, you have to get the rights to it.
It's at the Hollywood Bowl, so I would assume they went.
I'm assuming yes. Okay.
Yeah.
But I digress. But there are people there's this mom whose daughter also auditioned, who is going after the Kardashians and Kanye because obviously they paid off somebody to get her in this show.
Is that what the people are saying?
Yes. I mean, if you saw the clip of her singing, I just can't wait to be king,
be nice.
To be fair. However, but given the financial opportunity, if any of these other parents had the ability to pay off the casting director to get their kid in, they would have done it. Shit like that happens. Boo fucking who. Stop being hateful about a 10-year-old who is really just trying to do her best and have fun being in The Lion King. Again, any parent would do the same for their own child. Yes, they have billions of dollars and whatever. Yes, nepotism is live and real. But leave her alone. Leave her alone.
Leave Britney alone, man. Leave Britney alone. Here's the else thing. What if they
terrible,
didn't?
But leave her alone.
Listen, Britney, bitch. I saw the first match of King and Queen of the Ring. I know the influence Becky and Liv were going for. It is highly possible, and this is just an alternative thought here. It's highly possible they weren't even paid off at all. It's highly possible the casting director said, "You're the daughter, and you're the daughter of who? Oh, I'm gonna make money off of you." Because everything goes back to money. They can make a splash, and people will watch the support and hate watch it as well. No matter what, that money's going back into the pockets of the casting director and everybody in that show. Sometimes it's not about talent. Sometimes it's who can draw.
Maybe the casting director's tone deaf.
That could be also a problem as well.
Yeah. Maybe he just had headphones on. He's like, I'm not listening.
Yeah.
And she may have done really well in her audition and just botched it opening night. Again, she's 10. She's performing in front of like 60,000 people at the Hollywood Bowl. Like, I mean, it's a big deal. It's her first time like really on stage, like without her dad. So, you know, like
Positive.
she was probably nervous. Her outfit is definitely designed by Kanye, her costume.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
It's
Oh boy.
Well,
do yourself a favor and look up her costume.
I don't know.
Because it is. She is not a lion. That is not a lion costume. Like she's wearing.
Costume designers for these productions.
Yeezy's lion costumes coming soon.
Everyone else is in like the traditional like Broadway like costumes.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Northwest, like the direction.
all right. While Bo pulls that up, we're gonna keep the train rolling though.
Wow.
All right, Bo, screen share it.
Yeah,
Screen share it, Bo.
please.
Screen share it.
Hold on.
You gotta
Let me
show
look.
us
The
now.
most jovial he's been all show.
For real, we got Bo worked up now.
Yeah.
Look at this shit.
Oh, let's see this.
It won't let me click her for some stupid
No, I can
reason.
see it.
She's wearing shorts.
Oh yeah, the shorts.
No,
I
you
thought it was a
have
onesie.
She's got fuzzy slippers on.
Yeah.
I
She's
feel
wearing those Yeezy 22s.
Yeah,
Like-
that's
But again, everyone else is in like the traditional like costumes from the Broadway play. And
okay, maybe they did pay off the casting director because no one in the
she also may not have been. She may not have been comfortable wearing the other costume because it is like not a whole lot. It's a short skirt and it's sleeveless. And she herself is like very conservative. She likes to be fully covered up. So
she was like, "Hey, yo, Dad, go drop
Hook it
something
up."
quick."
Yeah. Like
she pills first, Dad, and draw this
she
up.
wears baggy t-shirts and like chains and jeans and stuff. Like that's more her style.
She's straight up wearing a starter zip up hoodie with some Champion shorts, some Walmart Lion King slippers, and what looks to be the bath mat that came out of my aunt's house.
What the fuck?
They do look like house clothes. I will tell you that. Like, why'd you bring your house slippers out?
Wow.
Right.
There's absolutely no segue from Northwest to match of the week, guys. So here we are. I don't even know how to do that. You know, we've arrived. We made it around. Pissed Off for Greatness is over.
Well, y'all took all the good shit.
All right. Match of the week is it should be fairly short and sweet, like two big shows. So I'm assuming everybody's match of the week came from one of the two pay-per-views, unless y'all were watching New Japan or Impact. What you guys got for me this week? Match of the week.
Mine comes from Raw.
Really?
Yeah.
What was it?
Sammy and Chad Gable.
That was a fantastic fucking match.
I really fucking enjoyed that. Hey, Holly.
Hey, Holly.
Hi, Holly.
I really enjoyed that match. I just enjoyed Chad Gable. He's up there, man. He reminds me a lot of my favorite.
Oh, it's coming.
So,
Pert Gable is on the way. I'm ready for him to moonsault off a cage or some shit.
Did you guys get a message from the Pert Gable guys in the from Raw?
No.
Oh, so I tweeted at them. I was like, whoever got Pert Gable past security, hats off to you. And they responded the next day, yeah, it was us. They took it away. They took it away after the first segment.
That's hilarious. I would have yeah. Oh yeah.
Great.
All right. Cam, Ricky, Al?
I'll go. My match of the week. I don't know. I was really trying. I loved Roddy and Will Ospreay. I loved Roddy and Will Ospreay. I was like, Roddy's so good when he doesn't have to talk. That's my thing with Roderick Strong.
Just let him mustache and backbreaker people. That's all he needs to do.
Yeah, so the mustache is a little bit much. It's you already have a list, but fine, whatever. Just but for me, I don't know. There is something just very grungy and I guess a little hardcore and classic about Gunther and Randy. Gunther and Randy was so much fun to me for some reason. I think it was after Gunther actually slapped him, and Randy was like, "Oh shit." I think we got a fight now. But I think that was the one for me. And Gunther's tear through the tournament was fantastic for me. I think it's Gunther and Randy for me.
I think that's also a good pick. That was a fantastic match. Cam, Al, which one of you got something for me?
Man, that's tough. I mean, there's a lot of good wrestling this weekend. I think I'm gonna go, well, specifically with the stigma that I have. So I'm gonna go with the one from King and Queen of the Ring. I think my match of the week is Cody versus Logan Paul. I thought this was a banger. Once again, I think Cody is 2-0 with putting on banger matches. He put a banger on with AJ Styles in France, and he put another one on with Logan Paul. I love the camera angles and things like that he did in this match. I think I'm, maybe this sounds a little old school, but like I'm still a fan of just the low camera shot if somebody's diving off the top of the top rope onto the table, because it looks like they're like the impact of that is more like you get that, oh, I felt that, like that like it hurt, you know what I mean, versus them like spinning around Logan while he's on top. I was like, okay, now I'm getting like dizzy, like don't keep doing that. So but it was unique. It was a cool camera angle. They're starting to mix things up with these camera angles and things of that nature. So I liked it, but overall it was a great match. I popped when Cody broke out the vertebreaker. That's one of my favorite moves. That's like blacklisted from wrestling right now. So, and it was just awesome. It was awesome to see. So yeah, it's just great. The some of the hate that Cody gets, obviously. Yeah, I get it. He's kind of the cookie cutter baby face, kissing babies, shaking hands, things of that nature, but that's just his thing, right? So he's probably the I hate this comparison, but he's probably the best wrestler to don, the red, white, and blue since Hulk Hogan. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of what he is for right now.
Very easy to beat. Very
and
easy.
Right. So that's my thing with Cody. He's supposed to be that. He's supposed to be your typical, squeaky clean baby face or whatever, but he puts on great matches. You can't tell me he's a bad wrestler. So that's my match of the week for sure.
Man, that one shot across Logan, for a second, I was mind blown. I was like, how the hell did they do that? For a second, I totally forgot drone in my head, because I was like, where's the camera from the top of the stanchion that they did a full 360 around? I was like, how did they one shot this? And then I was like, oh, they used the drone. And I was like, they allow drones in Saudi? I was like, okay.
It was an expensive shot.
Seriously.
In the States, I've looked into using a drone indoors. You have to pay to have a specially qualified pilot to do so. You have to have specialized insurances to do it, to make sure that if for some reason that drone were to get clipped by something and fall into the crowd, you would have enough insurance to cover everyone's medical bills. And I can only imagine when you incorporate the size of the company, the size of the venue, the size of the crowd, on top of going to another country, how many exponentially larger that number gets, how quickly.
I'm sure Saudi is a little looser on that thing. I think the Saudi prince just had to be like, yeah.
You can use a drone, fuck it.
Sure, it was clearly a Logan Paul thing. I think Logan Paul paid a lot of it, not WWE.
Do you want to use one of my drones? They're
like, we'll hold.
Al, what do you think?
My match of the week, and I'm sure one, if not more of you, is going to shit on this, but I give zero fucks. I know Scouts is going to shit on it from the chat. But the Mercedes Willow match was a fucking banger. Fuck you guys.
Let's go. Let's go. I'll never say it wasn't a good match. I just don't like the outcome.
Well, as we close another episode of Botched Spots.
I'm sorry. That match fucking slapped.
The crowd wanted that match too. It was a good match.
Hard. And it was good. Like, y'all can shit on Mercedes as much as you want, but she's good. She may be shit on the mic. Fine. But in that ring, she is good. And if she was still in WWE, nobody would be shitting on her. She's only getting shit on because she's an AEW now.
Wow.
It's not in my blood to shit on Mercedes. I just can't.
Mine either. That's my
yeah.
girl.
It's just I can't do it.
Can't do it.
What are you doing over there?
Oh, she's dropping the mic.
Oh, she's dropping the mic.
Oh,
Got
is
it.
that a real mic?
Clever.
Is that a real
yeah, that
mic?
was a real mic.
Oh,
Yeah.
damn. Rest in peace.
Actual mic drop. That's crazy.
That was an actual mic drop.
We're gonna need a new mic.
Everybody, she doesn't even use it anyways. Will Ospreay, that match was a banger with Roddy. That was my predicted match of the night before the pay-per-view started. I would say Orange Cassidy, Trent Beretta had sleeper, like a banger of a match as well. Nobody mentioned that one. I'm gonna say it. I'm just gonna say it from a fan's perspective. Somebody who likes watching train wreck matches. I want to watch people jump off a high shit. I want to watch people get ran over. You know what? You remember when fucking people like they ran over the golf cart and almost blacked out WrestleMania and shit because they were doing ridiculous stuff in the back? That's heralded. They talk about how like groundbreaking WWE was for it. You know what? I'll go on record as saying it. I was sports entertained as fuck watching Anarchy in the Arena. It may not have made any fucking sense story-wise. Like, it may not have made any sense anywhere. The fucking babyface literally attempted to murder one of the heels with a flamethrower, but who gives a shit? Tony Khan's, like, baby roll down the stairs.
Oh, that wasn't no baby roll. Like if you,
that was a roll.
There was the fan footage of him like he kept rolling, like
all the way to the fucking ring.
Roll, yeah,
yeah, he committed. It was just like it was so fun to watch. Bo, what's up?
He was afraid for his life. You know,
this has nothing to do with wrestling, but it just came across my feed.
Yeah,
we might have to go to Knoxville, Will.
As long as we get me a bulletproof vest first. What's going on in Knoxville, Bo?
We can meet the Turtles.
Kane will save you.
We can meet the Turtles?
The Turtles.
Like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Or like the band?
No, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like
no fucking way. No, when?
They'll be at Fan Expo in Knoxville.
When?
July 12th and 14th.
Really? I want to go,
man.
I'm 1000%. I'm a little bit of a Turtles fan. Like they're kind of important to me.
A little bit,
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you're a Renaissance artist.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. You know, Raphael was the sleeper of the four. Everybody talks about the works of Michelangelo and Leonardo, but nobody talks about Raphael's. He was up there with Rembrandt. Don't get me started on my Renaissance painters. I'll talk all night. Not even a fucking wrestling show. Botched Spots and Share Shots about painting now. I'm just kidding. Anarchy in Arena, sports entertained as fuck. And the Ninja Turtles are coming to Tennessee, so I'm going to go see them in July too. So that's cool. Fuck yeah.
I think one of the most hilarious spots of that match was when they strung up Darby by his feet, and then the match just continued, and Darby's just hanging there.
Shadow said his piss. We're gonna watch it after we go off the air, Bo. We're gonna eat, and when we get ready to watch like Raw and shit, I'll stream share it with you so you can watch the Anarchy in the Arena match from beginning to end. It was so much fun. Darby Allin got suspended by his ankles above the ring, and then they super kicked him with tacks on their shoes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, yeah, I need to see that.
Listen, I thought they hung him up there too long. Like I was like,
that was Shadow's pissed off for greatness. And Shadow don't give a fuck about nothing. And even Shadow was like, hey, guys, maybe that was a little bit much.
Like, just hanging there.
Like, you have Martha Hart there. Like, come on.
I may or may not have made a
Darby got hit by a bus off air in real
so
life like a month or so ago. He can hang around for a while. Okay.
Still, though, it was a little cringe. It was like, please help. Like, the crowd literally started chanting, please help Darby, because they were worried for him.
I've seen Darby do the craziest shit in the world, so I'm fine with Darby.
But still.
That sounds like the name of a show that would be hosted by Drew Carey late night.
Please help Darby.
I'm with Darby.
Yeah. I've seen Darby do the darndest things or something. And it's like, tonight, Jack Perry ran Darby down with a short bus. Like,
what? The compilation of Darby's craziest moments.
Yeah,
right?
it's nothing but Darby Allin coming close to death.
Bad Luck Brian looks at him and is like, "Damn, dude, you gotta stop."
They should really rename that match to Kill Darby.
Kill Darby. God.
Well, I mean, he was the focus of all the aggression. He got hit by a bus. He got thrown down an elevator, and then hung up on his bootstraps
After lighting a man on fire with a That's a lot to process. You know what
isn't
man
allowed to bring in a flamethrower to AEW arenas anywhere?
I might not be a smart man, but I'm pretty sure I understand that, TSA did not approve that in his check bag.
There's no way.
How did you pull that off?
Yeah, thank God for the Young Bucks who know how to use a fire extinguisher. Because me, I would have been like, I'm gonna let him burn for a little bit longer.
Also, thank God for the Young Bucks of, I'm sure, practicing how to properly tie him to hang him from that.
It was at least a well done spot.
Yeah. We've seen worse. I remember the exploding barbed wire death match.
Oh God, let's not talk about that.
It's better with the theme to Titanic.
It is. I saw that on TikTok. That was hilarious. I'm just gonna play the intro, Al. You ready?
Yep. We're gonna start with Miss Rousey today. Miss Rousey claims now that she has not been to a UFC show or match, whatever you want to fucking call it, since her last match in 2016. Said that she feels like she would get booed and is not welcome. Let me share my little screen. So, her new press tour includes her crying about how nobody likes me. Well, bitch, no, nobody likes you. Yes, Ronda Rousey.
No makeup in the glasses.
I went to a UFC event. Morning report, Ronda Rousey feels unwelcome to UFC events. I gave them everything I had, and it wasn't enough. Okay, I want to ask a controversial question to you guys.
Uh-oh.
Do y'all think that if Ronda Rousey wasn't pretty, that she wouldn't have made it as far as she did?
You're talking pretty privilege now.
Yes. Like, would she have been on the cover of the UFC game? Would she have gotten as much hype as she did for her, let's just be honest, very short tenure in the UFC?
I would say I was there present and watching actively through the Ronda Rousey rise. That was during like the peak of my UFC fandom. I wasn't watching a lot of wrestling at the time, but I was watching a shit ton of fights. I was participating in fights. I was training at the time. You know what I mean? So I think that Ronda was special because she was the first person to do what she was doing. She was the first person to take women's fights to the mainstream. She was the first female to main event a big UFC fight. I think also the biggest issue with Ronda, though, Ronda got exposed quicker than Ohio State's defensive secondary in the playoffs.
Wow.
She got exposed rather quickly. Yeah. And the moment Holly Holmes came through and exposed how to beat Ronda, everybody started to beat Ronda. So I think
in Ronda's defense, Holly had God on her side.
She did. And then you had Chrissy Cyborg come through and a lot of the women that were fighting in that division post Ronda. And it's nothing against Ronda. She was groundbreaking for what she did, but her flash in the pan set off an atom bomb in women's talent in UFC. If Ronda tried to fight now, Ronda wouldn't be as big of a star as she was then because the competition is so much better now. She was the best woman at the time. She's just a really good fighter now.
Yeah, she's also past her prime. I mean, with her...
Fair. No, absolutely fair.
She's past her prime. I mean,
she's not going back. She was not going to the events to fight. She hasn't even gone to sit and watch. Like, that's what she's talking about. Like, she feels like she can't even go to an event and watch because nobody wants her.
Well, that's because she pissed everybody off.
Didn't she have a wing named after her in UFC's offices? Don't they have like the Rousey room or the Rousey?
Yeah, she's also in the the UFC Hall of Fame. She got inducted, but she wants to
granted,
cry about
there
how
are
nobody
people in
wants
the there are people in the Baseball Hall of Fame who I would boo if they were still alive. Whitey Ford, for example.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, but I think she was, like Will said, she's a pioneer. She was also, I think, bronze or silver in the Olympics when she did judo. Like, she had the talent, you know. She just so happened to be pretty nice to look at from time to time. So I think that helped, but the talent will always outshine that, I think, all the time. She just happened to be, she had a marketable face at the time, and it worked for her. But also, she was kind of a big fish in a small pond, but you need that Jackie Robinson to open the door for everybody else. Jackie Robinson wasn't the best, you know, baseball player of his era. He just so happened to be the one that was able to fit the mold for what MLB needed at that time. Ronda Rousey was that right person at the right time to help establish everybody else.
That's a great analogy, Ricky. That's why I like you. You're smarter than me, and that's hard to find.
I mean,
I didn't really watch, so I was just curious because, you know, sometimes these privilege, there is pretty privilege.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. On to Mr. Ryback.
The TikTok you sent me?
Yeah, thanks for the spoiler, AJ.
I didn't even say anything.
You gotta wait, bro.
All right, everything's up. Ready?
Yo, backers, all this week, I will not be able to go live from this account until next Saturday afternoon at 1:05 p.m. Please join me on my @Feed Me More Nutrition business account, where I will be going live every single day. I'm about to go live right now, but every day, usually between 3 and 4 p.m. Pacific time. And that's last bite. Feed me more.
I'm not exactly sure what this man did to get banned for a week on TikTok Live.
And just says sorry, he just got back to his phone. He wasn't sure if he missed it.
A week he got banned. Luckily, you know, everyone's got that burner account. But yeah, Ryback's banned for a week on TikTok.
I feel his pain. I mean, to be completely honest, I regularly get handed bananas on TikTok because I forget that Twitch and YouTube don't give a shit about me and Bo and our extracurriculars, you know, dances with the devil's lettuce on film. I don't care. Bo doesn't care. Twitch and YouTube doesn't care. TikTok gives a big fuck. And they have banned me multiple times for smoking on air. And then I always forget that I'm not allowed to there. You know what I mean? Like, because so many places have different. So I feel his pain. I've been banned for dumb reasons. So
if you're desperate to watch Ryback eat or battle Elmo on TikTok Live, you'll have to follow his nutrition account.
God,
and I'd ban him on his nutrition account too, just because I'm an asshole. If I was in charge, you just expose where you're going to go live from, even though you got banned. Yeah, you're getting banned there too. Fuck you.
They don't care.
All right, Al, it's yours for the next 20 minutes or so.
20 minutes?
We're running long tonight.
Former The Bump host Matt Camp claimed on his wrestling match show that WWE only wants fans at post-event press conferences and wants to make them a part of the show to avoid disruptive questions being asked of talent in Triple H.
You say
this
doesn't
to be
want
expected.
Or does want fans?
They do want. So they want like marks like us who have little tiny podcasts that they think aren't going to ask disruptive questions like Sean might or some of the other guys.
Well, then give us media access. And stop giving it to all the big followers then. If this is what you want, make it happen.
Cam, what were you going to say?
There is, I forgot, but they have, it's not that they have a sneaky link, but you can apply for media credentials for almost all of the pay-per-views. It's just really hard link to find, you know, and the second I found it, like the deadline was already kind of like, you know, passed, but they are available. But it's hard to get access to it. You kind of got to be in the know. Then you still have to get like selected and stuff.
And the other issue is the people who know where to find the links
won't tell you, or maybe you do.
It's hard because and Ricky's real. This is the tough situation behind it. Those of us who know who have the link and know how to apply, understand how many people there are in that pecking order. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's that, I don't know. It's like, I've talked about it on TikTok when it comes to like your sources and stuff. You can't out your sources because then they become everybody else's sources too, or they stop talking to you. They stop giving you, there's all kinds of things that happen. If you give these links to people, your competition becomes exponentially harder because everybody knows where to apply now. You know what I mean? It's like this double-edged sword where it's like, it's tough, man, because I've never gotten credentials. Like, I'm hoping SummerSlam is my first pay-per-view, and I'm crossing my fingers and my toes and having Bo and Al and everybody that I know cross their fingers and toes because I might get in the room for SummerSlam. I was on a waiting list for Royal Rumble. You see what I mean? Like, it's tough. And I'm, you know, been published and I represent Last Word on Sports and the Sportster, and I've done the things and I do the dirt sheets, and I still, with that plus Botched Spots and Share Shots, still don't qualify for media credentials sometimes. Like, it's a tough fucking field, dude. It's hard to get them. And Bo's right. If they want to give it to fans, make it easier for fans to apply and make it a lottery. Like, that would be how I would do it.
But I like it.
Yeah, this is to be expected just because of the fact that, you know, the last couple of press conferences, they keep asking Triple H some not so great questions about certain superstars that get released and things of that nature, and he's probably tired of it. So he's just like, well, we got to get, you know, control of that and kind of control who we let, you know, amongst the media ask questions or whatever. I think I'll even go as far as to say they might even start like just scripting what they are allowed to ask, and just be like, you can't ask this. If you are asked this, you are banned. No longer your passes are taken away. You are no longer allowed in the media press at all. I won't be surprised they start doing that, honestly.
Well, think about what happened after night 1 of WrestleMania. You had some buffoon, I don't even call him a member of the press, some buffoon boo Roman Reigns.
I mean,
absolute buffoon. Like,
here's the thing: if you're gonna have, if you're not going to, if you don't want a shoot press conference, don't fucking have a press conference. I don't need some fake ass media scrum from any company about, you know, a previously planned outcome. If like, a press conference is to answer actual real questions. Like, don't fucking have it. They're only doing it because AEW started doing it. And they're all shitty. Like,
to put it in perspective, and I don't mean to cut you off, I've done for the last year probably every media call that AEW's had for their pay-per-views. I've gotten to ask 2 questions the entire time I've done them. Like, it's tough. And I can't speak that enough. People don't realize, even in pro wrestling, when you get to a certain level, and I am nobody at that level, but I've been a guest at that table, and I can tell you when you get there, it's cutthroat. Those guys don't give a fuck how many followers you have, because if you're sitting next to him in that room, that's one more person that might get to ask a question before they get to. Like, it's tough, man. And like, if you piss them off, you just stop getting invited. You know what I mean? And that's the very real side of it. If Tony doesn't like your question, you get pulled from the email list. You know what I mean? Like, it's a tough fucking world. I think that if you want to do the fans, do the fans. If you don't want to do the fans, then keep doing it the way you're doing it, and you just have to accept people are going to ask real questions. You have to hold the media responsible.
Yeah, you have to. If you're going to bring fans, it's got to be a limited number of fans. If you do all fans, that is absolutely going to be a controlled environment. Totally, WWE is going to be hands-on about what questions you're going to ask. If you do a mixture, I think, of quote-unquote professional media people as well as fans, I think the fans that do get into the room, or the people with podcasts who don't have giant followings like myself or you or any of us, if they do get into the room, you can kind of learn from the people who know what the fuck they're doing, and it kind of, you know, you kind of really learn by osmosis there.
Or if you're like, be open to answering shoot questions. Again, if you don't want to answer shoot questions, don't fucking do a press conference. It's just that simple. Like these dirt sheets and the media that is in there, they don't write about the wrestling like it's, you know what I mean? They don't write it from the work position. Generally. You know what I mean? They write it from the shoot position. So of course they're going to ask you real fucking questions.
TNA, for instance.
Oh, go ahead.
No. TNA, for instance, will tell you ahead of time you're not allowed to ask about anything outside of TNA. TNA related talent, storylines, what's happening on our screen in our universe. They, going into their media, spearhead that. They let you know ahead of time. This is all we want our talent to talk about because we're allowing them to put our shit over. AEW, WWE do the same thing a lot of times. AEW has never told us in a media call ahead of time, hey, you're not allowed to ask about A, B, or C. Yeah. Like, we've never been told things were off limits. But again, if you ask a question, you may get the no comment and then stop getting emails.
Yeah, it is a risk. I think, when you're at a press conference, most of these press conferences are thematic. So if you're at a WrestleMania press conference, it's kind of also like a quiet, you're kind of implied that you would ask something about WrestleMania. This isn't like the media scrum for Super Bowl Tuesday where they ask the stupidest shit in the world. Like, what's your favorite Gatorade or whatever, or things like that. Like, these are kind of, I attribute these press conferences to like a press conference after a basketball game. Like, for instance, Dallas won last night. You ask, most of those questions are going to be asking about the game or things surrounding the game. That's kind of the implication of it. If you're at an event, you're talking about things that happen at the event or surrounding the event. So yes, it's kind of a shoot, but there are kind of quiet implications about what you would ask at these press events. Like, if I'm at a WrestleMania press conference, why would I be talking about SummerSlam from last year?
Agreed.
Moving along, Steve Borden, Sting's youngest son, who played football for the University of Kentucky, and Wolfpack Sting for his dad's retirement match at AEW Revolution, is now training to become a pro wrestler. What do you think of baby Sting taking over for daddy?
It's gonna be tough for him because I think that's why we don't see. I mean, we see a lot of second generation, third generation superstars, especially in this era. But I think that's the reason we don't see more of them is because some of them, so the ones that don't decide to pick up wrestling and do other things outside of wrestling, and they do their own career path, is because I can't remember who said it, but it's because of the fact that when they get into it and they start training, they're looked at differently from other trainees. They're like, oh, that's Sting's son. Oh, that they get treated differently. And some of them don't like that because that's a hard shadow to try to get out of and be looked at as, I'm not just Sting's son. Like, I'm my own person, and I want to be my own wrestling, personality, entity. I want to have my own aura going into wrestling. And I don't want to just be looked at as Sting's son. So it's going to be tough for him to try to really get out of that shadow. I think he'll do great. Obviously, just the small little spots that he had in Sting's last match. I'm like, he's got the athleticism down for sure. So I'm definitely curious to see that that develop for sure. So, but it's going to be tough for him just to be able to get out of Sting's shadow for sure.
Yeah,
you have to work harder than everybody else.
Yeah, I really hope he does his own thing, like his own gimmick, and doesn't just try to like take over the Sting gimmick. Like AJ said, like Charlotte when she first started, people still give Charlotte shit all the time and don't give her the roses that she deserves because everyone's like, oh, she's only getting these opportunities because he's Ric Flair's daughter. No, fuck you, Charlotte's good in the ring.
She also is getting those opportunities because she's Ric Flair's daughter. Like, there is the "I'm the Charlotte Flair" clause that WWE use out all the time.
Yes and no. She still has earned them. She's still really good in that ring.
I
you can't deny that her moonsault's a bit, but she is good in that ring, and she works.
Because Tiffany arrived, that's why.
We don't talk about Tiffany Stratton on this show.
It's the prettiest moonsault ever.
Well,
We don't talk about Tiffany.
I think
But no,
Christopher Daniels would argue that.
Yeah. Ultimo Dragon. I mean,
I'll still go with Tiffy.
They literally named a moonsault after that man. So I mean, like,
DME.
yeah.
After Tay Mello posted
Ty Mello.
I want to call him Tay.
Tay.
Mello Guevara posted on Monday about getting back in the ring for the first time since giving birth to her daughter. Fightful Select confirmed that Mello is training again, but reports haven't heard any imminent plans for her to return to AEW. Do y'all want to see her back? Do you care? Have you missed her?
I don't really care, just because I don't really think she's going to make that much of a splash in the current landscape of the division right now. I mean, she's not. She's just going to be on the face. They brought back Red Velvet after like 2 years of being gone because she was hurt, and they've done nothing.
No one knew she was gone.
Exactly. Nobody knew she was gone. And then she came back,
showed up. Like,
yeah.
Oh shit! They're using Red Velvet tonight. That's cool.
They bring her back, and they're just like, oh. Yeah, here's Red Velvet. She's been gone because she was hurt for this time. And then they had her on TV for like a couple of matches. And then where's she been at last month and a half? No one knows. That's what I see for Ty Mello. Like, she's going to come back and be forgotten in a month.
Well, Red Velvet did do an indie show here in Jacksonville not too long ago. So that's something, I guess.
Yeah, no, I don't care. It's just like, she's there. Like, hey. Like you mentioned Tay Mello, I was like, oh yeah, she wrestles, right? Like that's where she is. Like she's kind of there. They had the whole Edge and Lita thing with her and Sammy Guevara for a while. Where's Sammy Guevara, by the way?
I think he's suspended.
His suspension
Would it
got
be the
lifted,
first time? Yeah.
But he's also, I'm pretty sure, still banged up or recovering from an injury as well. It wouldn't surprise me if we maybe see those two come back together.
Sure.
It's whatever.
Deadline claims that Cody Rhodes has joined the cast of a Naked Gun reboot, but he'll only be making a cameo. So he's not like fully in the movie.
So he's full blown going whole ass Dusty Rhodes then. If he's taking like bullshit comedy like cameos and like that's it.
Well, he's been doing it for years. He was in Arrow.
Oh yeah,
he was in Arrow. Yeah,
he is embracing the Rhodes name. Yeah.
He was pretty badass in there. I liked him in there.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, I saw the clips. I was like, oh wow, he's really.
That's the reason he came back and fought Brody with black hair.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because he had dyed it for the show and shit.
He had to dye it for his character in the show, and he didn't have time to re-dye it blonde before their match.
Cody's a brunette, just so you know.
Yeah, but he had dyed it like straight, like
I know.
Yeah, like black, yeah.
I apparently didn't realize that like Cody and I, like when we moved to Georgia when I was 17, like apparently Cody and I like lived down the road from each other. No fucking idea.
They went to rival high schools.
Yeah.
Like her high school and Cody's high school played each other every year through her high school
I've
career.
seen Cody Rhodes play high school football.
No idea.
Good.
Couldn't fucking tell you. I was in marching band. I didn't actually watch the fucking game.
That was like
that makes sense. Okay. I understand. I totally
That's
understand.
like Wyndham playing at Troy when we were in college. Like Bray Wyatt playing for Troy football when we were in college, and we saw him play every year we were in college, and we were like, the fuck? Like really? Like
it's like my cousin. My cousin was like, I know, like Braun Breaker came on. She goes, that's not his real name. I went, what do you mean? I was like, of course it's not. She goes, no, he went to college with me.
Yeah. Like I had a buddy that I worked with when I worked at a named cell phone carrier who like they were on the Lassiter football team together.
That's cool.
Yeah. Anywho. Fightful mentioned that Kenny Omega had surgery for his diverticulitis on May 16th. He is expected to require a lengthy recovery process. So, well wishes to Kenny Omega.
Yeah, diverticulitis is a son of it. It almost killed Brock Lesnar in UFC. So, take your time, Kenny. Take your time.
The site also says that WWE has offered Natalya a potential contract extension, but no deal has been signed yet. So they haven't offered to redo her contract, but extend her contract.
I mean, fine. Her best work is in NXT for her entire career, which is sad. Listen, NXT Underground, that NXT Underground match was fantastic. I love
was
that
though.
match.
Cool. Do you still have access to those stats?
No, I have no idea where they're at from a couple weeks ago. No, it was the one I used. I had a graphic for it. It was like she was in the first Divas Championship match. She was in the first SmackDown Championship match. She was the first Saudi Arabia match, the first women's blah, blah, blah match, like all of this. She was a Divas champion, a SmackDown champion, tag champion, like all of Natalia's like accolades throughout her entire career.
Yeah, I mean, like we're talking about, I think we're going to do like a whole show about it, but like, you know, Mount Rushmore of jobbers, like you have to have those mid-card people to like lift up the other talent. And like, Natty's a fucking workhorse and people sleep on her. Yeah, she's not the fucking best, but like she has a good attitude. She helps out, like, you know, stop
she's
hating
female
on Natty.
Miz.
Yeah, stop hating on Natty.
You know, I love me some Natty. I don't know what TJ was doing on the first season of Total Divas. You know the episode.
What the fuck is this episode tonight, guys?
No, my thing with Natty is they don't let Natty do what Natty needs to do, because like Natty learned to wrestle in Japan. Natty likes to hit people, and they don't let her hit people a lot. They let her do it in NXT Underground, and she was all the better for it. But at some point, you got to let Natty loose, but they haven't done it in years. She doesn't utilize all of her skill set, especially on the main roster.
You have to let Natalya Neidhart do Natalya Neidhart things, which sounds oddly fucking similar to what they had to do with her dad before he really hit his stride. They tried to make him work like Brett, and he couldn't. And when they finally realized, okay, this is the fucking heater, he's the big muscle of the group, and they let Neidhart do his thing, he really found his stride. And I think WWE had a taste of it with Natty, but they never really take the reins and let him run. The same thing with Nia in her first women's championship match. They forced her into the babyface. You had talked about that earlier, I think.
Yeah, it's a great story. She can't sustain as a face.
No, fair. WWE has abandoned an attempt to trademark Big Time Bex. So either Becky's going to be taking an extended break after she loses this cage match tonight, or she's going to completely change gimmicks after maybe a shorter break.
Wait a second. When you say cage match tonight, is there a cage match on Raw?
Yes,
there's a cage match tonight. Yeah,
tonight on Raw between they announced it on tweeters. Becky is invoking her
rematch clause with Liv.
Contractual rematch clause, yep.
And they are having a cage match tonight on Raw.
That's kind of dope, though.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm here for it.
Yeah, I think they're not pursuing Big Time Bex as a negotiation tactic.
Maybe.
I think this is if I was a negotiator and we need Becky back, it's not like I think Becky's going freaking anywhere. At all. But this is kind of will swing the spot. Hey, we won't copyright this. You can take Big Time Bex as long as you resign. That would be my tactic. Like, I'm not pursuing this just to sweeten the pot.
Or she might just be going a different direction with their gimmick, and they don't need to spend the money on the trademark.
True.
Who knows? On the Von Erich's podcast, Marshall Von Erich said that he and brother Ross have been in conversations with both companies. Kevin Von Erich's sons say they haven't signed anything, but good news is coming. It's a good month to be a Von Erich. You better knock on some fucking wood, motherfuckers.
Wow.
I wasn't going to say. Wow. I was thinking it a lot.
That just happened.
And their granddad, like they've seen the movie, right? Like they
lived it, right? Like, we've seen the dark side of the ring. Like, we know what happens after a while.
Like, you better go see some voodoo priestesses.
Yeah.
Some like make sure some curses are lit. Like
the reason why your dad is here is because he left the business.
Yeah. Didn't he like move to Hawaii? He was like, I'm out.
Like, he pulled a Tupac before Tupac.
Yeah.
He did.
Like,
he bounced. He went to Hawaii,
gone.
and now he hangs out and gets stoned and plays in waterfalls and shit. And you're like,
barefoot all the time. Yeah,
this is an NWA champ. Like, what? He's doing what?
If there is some sort of competition for the Von Erichs, I don't know what company they're better off in. Like, I honestly don't know.
I feel like for safety reasons.
WWE.
WWE.
yeah, there you go, right there.
But we saw how they handled the fucking Texas tornado, right? We saw what they did with Kerry when he went to Connecticut. Oh, yeah. No, wait, you wouldn't know because all they gave you in the fucking Iron Claw was a 15-second SummerSlam clip from 92. Like, no, they gave us nothing because that's how, like, meaningless his WWE run was.
Vince is gone, so I feel like they would
Also
be
true.
safe under a Triple H regime and maybe not set on fire by Darby Allin.
Yeah,
Darby's not setting everybody on fire. Just the
Darby's
dude
gotta
who
look
ran
both ways
him
when he
over with
crossed
a
the
bus.
street.
Listen,
Yeah.
Cody Rhodes set himself on fire in AEW right before he left.
But in
Also
the
got the
words
steel
of
chair.
Mick Foley, think about the pop. And him and Andrade blew the fucking roof off of that place in that match, dude.
I mean, let's face facts here. Cody Rhodes in AEW was a completely different animal. Like,
Yeah.
he was crazy.
Yeah.
Diving off cells and stuff like that.
Cody and
he's way
AEW
more tame now.
thought he had to do all that crazy shit when in reality he doesn't have to do all that crazy
Right.
shit.
That's why I'm saying, like, they don't need to go to AEW.
If you ask Cody Rhodes and Dustin, him and Dustin and Earl Hebner will all three, because of that match right there, they saved pro wrestling. And they will tell you that. They mean that to their soul. They think that match at the original Double or Nothing saved wrestling.
I mean, interesting take.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it was the original Double or Nothing. Somebody in the chat will probably correct.
Wasn't that the original All In?
No, not the first All In with like Ray and MJF and everybody coming over and like not that All In.
I thought it was All In when he was like, "I need my brother." He's like crying.
Yeah, I think that was All In. I think
was that at All In?
That was All In. Yeah,
that was All Out.
All Out, the first All Out. That's what it was.
All Out,
yeah,
All In.
Remember. All In, whatever.
All Out or Double or Nothing. I knew it was.
It
one
was
of the
Ring
first
of
two
Honor
big
in the
movies.
skies. Damn
it
it!
was
Everybody
all
knows
something.
it.
I don't know what the other word was.
And now
Ring
we've
of
got
Honor.
now AJ's like, no, you're right. It was the original Double or Nothing. None of us fucking know.
I don't fucking know.
It happened the first year AEW had wrestling, and they said that match saved wrestling. When they got all bloody and beaten up and shit, it wasn't the moonsault off the cage match, though.
Listen, I can barely remember what I did last week. You expect me to remember something that happened 4 or 5 years ago? No.
If you go digging around in your beard, I'll bet you find random memories, don't you?
Ooh, a piece of candy.
Yes.
Oh,
$5 bill. Look at that.
Mark Henry is leaving AEW. Cool.
I like
And
Mark
now
Henry.
the main events. That's all I remember. Thank you, Mark Henry.
That was awesome.
What's he? I know that he's a, we were talking about it off air,
Backstage.
consultant and producer and all the things he does backstage, but he felt like one of those guys along with the Big Show. He was scooped up because they didn't want him in WWE. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they could sign him, so they did sign him.
Yeah, that's true. I think Mark's coming back because there are people on the roster that need help and need new designs for their costume Street Profits. That's like,
Oh, Bianca does their stuff.
Street Profits look like Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey like sideshows. Okay, like they need to really change this.
Wow.
Okay. I love Montez.
Wow.
I love Montez and Angelo Dawkins. And Angelo Dawkins trolling Montez for an entire SmackDown on Twitter was one of the greatest things ever.
I have this
they
really
need
gut
help.
feeling. Angelo Dawkins is going to be the Butch Reed of that tag team very soon, and that breaks my heart. Like, I'm sorry. I think Tez is a bona fide star. He's going to be a world champion in the next couple of years. And I don't know if Angelo Dawkins is going to be able to keep up with him as a singles competitor.
He's not.
No, unfortunately. And Angelo Dawkins is wild talented.
Yeah. I don't understand how Montez hasn't already taken off. I mean, I get they're still doing the whole Street Profits thing, and they gave them new direction, putting them with Bobby, right? But after that performance in the Elimination Chamber, what was that? A year ago, year and a half ago, whatever it was. That was crazy. Because after that, I was like, oh, it's
that's obvious. When everybody thought he was going to win the U.S. title, and that was going to to be the start of it, right?
Yeah.
To me, I feel like that performance in the Chamber, he eclipsed Angelo Dawkins after that. To me, because that just showed me he's a bona fide star. If I didn't already know it, you know what I mean. So
if you watch his and Bianca's show on Hulu, you should, because it's during that time period where he had that banger spot in Elimination Chamber, and then he talks, and then you see all the backstage stuff of them shitting on him the whole time after that. Like him and Dawkins right after that got called to Washington. They were on Raw at the time, but they told them they had them fly themselves because the talent has to pay for their own travel. They flew themselves all the way to DC from Florida for a show, and 2 minutes before they were about to go out for their match, someone from production came up and was like, "Hey, the last segment went too long. Your match is cut." But that whole show should really be named "Let's Shit on Montez."
Stick to your times, wrestlers. Stick to your times.
Montez.
Montez should have had the rocket strip strapped to him after the end of Raw. He won a match and he took a baby. Okay, he took somebody's child. All right. And the ending spot of Raw was a white child at that. He took a child, and he took a baby, and the ending spot of Raw was them waving to the camera by. It was so good. They use it as their opening part of their video package, and you still didn't give him a singles run? Come on.
So, that's it-ish for news and rumors. So we're gonna go around the ring here. And I'm going to start with Kim. I want you to name me your high of King of the Ring and your low. Like, what was your favorite moment, and what was your least favorite moment?
My favorite moment probably was obviously the spot I already talked about earlier with Logan Paul splashing Cody through the table. That was probably my favorite moment. My least favorite moment, and I know I'm going to get hate for this, but my least favorite moment was Nia Jax winning the Queen of the Ring. I'm not a fan of Nia Jax. I'm just not. I'm never going to be a fan of Nia Jax.
Ricky?
My highest spot, because I'm not going to take Cam's Logan Paul. Nia Jax sat on a woman from the second rope. Okay. Full weight and everything. One of the greatest Yokozuna, and she did the Yokozuna Banzai pose. It was beautiful. I was watching by myself, and I yelled really loud. I was like, "Oh my god!" Because I thought she had at least broken 3 of Lyra Valkyria's ribs.
She broke Lyra Valkyria. Stop.
In general, my god. My least favorite moment from King of the Ring. Because as of right now, I don't know what they're doing with it. Liv Morgan winning. I understand the logistics around it and why they had to do it from a contractual standpoint. But for me, I was like, are they about the summer of Punk Liv Morgan's run? Because I thought there was more for this to happen, but we'll see.
AJ says my high was Nia winning and my low was the ref missing Randy's shoulders. So everybody boo AJ. Boo.
I mean, to be fair, Randy just fucked up the spot. His shoulders were supposed to be down. Like, let's not boo the ref for Randy fucking it up.
Wow.
Well, it's true.
Get your logic out of here, like you said in on production meetings.
Although Triple H addressed it right afterwards. Triple H did address it right afterwards. So
because everybody makes such a fucking stink about it.
everybody wants something to be something, so they thought maybe Randy's shoulder up was going to be an angle. Like, no, guys.
Like, no, he just fucked up.
Yeah.
Jax.
My high would be Gunther winning. I'm very happy about that. My low would be putting Jade and Bianca on the kickoff show. Like, I just don't understand it. That's my low.
Will.
My high, I think the right two people won the tournaments. Gunther and Nia Jax were both the right picks. I'm excited to see what both of them do with this now that they have it. My low, and this is just me, and I'm not trying to yuck any yums. I don't like that it was a Saudi event. I've never been a big fan of bot shows, and I definitely don't like the fact that, like, it's just not my cup of tea, man. Like, there's bigger things happening than trying to fake a weekend for those people with the WWE experience and taking them fucking Ferris wheels and stuff. So for 5 days, they can feel like they're in Philadelphia. And then when WWE packs up shop and leaves, they go back to the life they were living. It's like,
I saw those photos. Like, I think I'd rather
fake.
be there.
It's propaganda. You know what I mean? Like, that's not what it's like in Saudi Arabia for these people every day of their life. They get this for 5 days, and then WWE leaves, and then they have to go back to living that life. And to me, it feels like a lot of propaganda because they're building this up to be like, Saudi Arabia is this great tourist destination, you know? Like, no, it's not.
They did buy all of golf.
Yeah, like, it seems fake to me, and I'll just say it. And, like, I can get hate for that if people want to hate me for that. The Saudi shows all seem fake because I know they're bought. Those fans are there because the government told them to be there. They were loud as shit and blew the roof off. They did a good job, but, like, it's just not the same. If you're going to have those big moments like giving Gunther King of the Ring, do it in front of his crowd. Do it in front of the people that have been carrying him for the last year through his 666-day title reign. You know what I mean? Do it here. Yeah, that's just
you got to be world wrestling entertainment and go to other places in the world.
I know, Ricky. Get out of here with your fucking logic, sir.
I'm here all day.
My high was Nia winning the Queen of the Ring. All hail the Queen. She fucking deserves this. She's worked really hard. Like,
her comeback's been otherworldly.
Yeah. My low was the triple threat for the Intercontinental title because in all of these conversations that we have had about King of the Ring, not a fucking one of you mentioned this match because nobody cares. Like,
I cared.
But here's the thing: nobody cares
as much as everything else.
Nobody cares about Sammy as Intercontinental Champion. They only care about the Chad Gable portion of this story. Like, Sammy got super over with the bloodline, and now they're trying to shove him back down our throats.
I'm on Team Gable for all this, just for the record.
I'm also mad at Sami Zayn, which we will not discuss, but he neither here nor there. Double or nothing. We'll go in reverse this time. Jax, high and low of Double or Nothing. Or I guess I should go first. Just kidding, in reverse, and it would be Will. Sorry. My high of Double or Nothing was Mercedes' entrance because it was really cool with the drum line. I love a good banger entrance. I see that face cam. I see it. Listen, I love a baller entrance.
It was a cool entrance.
My low was the fact that they always seem to put the pre-show match is always a fucking women's match. Like, come on, guys. Just put it on the main card. Come on. Just do it. Will.
High, MJF's return. And then the low, I can actually tell you, it was that stupid triple threat match. The Hook, Jericho, Shibata match. Mm-hmm. Like, I did not like that at all. Double or nothing high, MJF. Double or nothing no, Mercedes winning, says Scowls. Who's next, Al, after me?
That would be me. My high, because it shocked the shit out of me, was Christian and Swerve. I thought they went out there and did a really damn good job.
That was a banger match. It's just not in the right position on the card.
No. I'm very proud of Prince Nana for being able to run with sagging pants. Like,
it's a thing. We all learn it. Cam knows.
Yeah, when he jumped over the guardrail, I thought he was going to lose him, but
it's a physics thing, really.
It's a physics thing. Okay. My low was the trios match. As much as I'm a bang bang gang guy, it just didn't get my socks off at all.
Ricky,
my high is clearly Mercedes winning. Like, come on. That's exactly what I needed for me to actually tune in to watch the event. My low was, I'm not going to say Anarchy in the Arena because that's a given. My low is Mercedes' entrance, and it's not the entrance at all. I actually like the entrance. Bianca Belair did it better at WrestleMania 38. But my low is that I hate her song. I don't like great. This. I get it. Symphony Number 9, which is a great song. It's like 20 minutes long because it's classical music, but it is the CEO thing all the time. Like it sticks for me. It's an earworm for all the wrong reasons. Yeah, like, it just doesn't sound great.
Like, your cousin is Snoop Dogg. You should have better music.
Seriously, I would rather see her use BBL Drizzy.
But do you know how much Snoop Dogg, how much he charges to have him be featured on an album?
First of all, they're family.
They're first cousins.
16 bars is $250,000 for him to spit one verse.
She has Disney money.
She does have Disney money.
Snoop is so deep in bed with the WWE, he ain't touching AEW.
Well, did you see his elbow drop in AEW when they were in Jacksonville? That was
that is true. Too. He has done an AEW spot, so
it's real bad. It was real bad.
Who hasn't given double or nothing takes? Cam?
Yeah, Cam.
Cam, you're up.
So I'm not. The Mercedes one has already been said, so I won't say that. Anarchy in the Arena, I think it's kind of a given too. I think. So my high, I think is just the entire barbed wire steel cage match. That whole thing is my high. Like that was good.
It was a great match.
The only iffy thing about it was I was kind of, and I guess that's just kind of the, I don't know, me being a violence lover, I guess. I was kind of hoping that the barbed wire was like, I was hoping like the steel cage was like encased in barbed wire.
I was looking for a lot more barbed wire.
Yeah, it was just like it was like little strings here and there. I was like, oh, that's kind of cheap, you know. But other than that, though, it was a bloodbath. I expected that, obviously. I love the House of Black coming out. They teased like they were going to turn on Malachi Black, and they're like, nah, we're just messing with you, bro. So I love that. I love Gangrel because I had talked about this on the Boom on Wednesday. I said it would be dope if Edge comes out and he has Gangrel with him, because that's what I was hoping that he would have done when he was still in WWE, when, you know, he was coming up from the floor and he had the Brood entrance and things of that nature. I popped when it said the Brood on the Titantron. I'm like, whoa, can they use that? Like, is this safe? Like, are they going to get sued? Like, that was crazy. So I popped. So that whole match, I think, was a high for me. A low for me, again, like I said, we're going back to the Anarchy in the Arena match thing. A low for me probably was it's probably a toss up between, again, like hanging someone upside down and just leaving them there, and then probably setting someone on fire. Like, it's just that match, like the dangers in that match just kept going from worse to worse to worse to worse. It's like, are we trying to send someone to the hospital with like a serious injury? Like, this is getting a little bit.
It was awesome.
So,
it was sports entertaining as fuck, Cam. I was sports entertained, bro, the whole time.
I don't know. So that's a low for me. So.
All right. Well, that's all the stuff I have.
Okay. I said 75 minutes and we have been talking and I love it. So I'm gonna hold you guys to it, okay? The whole point of this, and I put it in the TikTok, so we have to do it. Guys, I want to know who are the 4 best people to ever win the King of the Ring tournament, with it just being this weekend now. We don't have to go into any lengthy details or discussions about them, but I'm curious to know because it's been such a hot topic the last week. We can go in whatever order we want to. Bo, your hand went up first. Do you have your list ready?
Oh, I got my list ready, buddy.
All right. Who's on your Mount Rushmore King of the Ring?
I'm going lowest to highest.
All right. So 4, 3, 2, 1. Heard?
Yes. William Regal.
Good pick.
Owen Hart. Booker T. Kurt Angle.
It's a solid 4. Solid 4. Cam?
I'm gonna say Stone Cold. I'm gonna say I think Triple H won 1 year. I think
he won in '97.
He was still Hunter. He was still Hunter Hearst Helmsley. I think at that
Correct,
time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Stone Cold, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, and then I'm gonna go King Booker, and then I'll go William Regal.
Great picks, Ricky.
Can we include Queens? I mean, I know there's only 2, but we can.
You can put them if you want to put Zelina or Nia on your list. You absolutely can for being the first 2 women to do it.
I'm putting Zelina because she was funny as shit as Queen Zelina. Zelina, she was.
Was she?
She was. Nobody can go from Puerto Rican New York accent to regal English accent in the same promo.
And it was awesome.
Like
Booker did a good
job.
job.
From Stucca to doing all this or whatever. Like, whoa.
Booker's there too as well. I'm also gonna give it to the Macho King, Randy Savage. Ooh. And I'm also going to give it to, just because it was really ridiculous to see him get carried around a lot, King Mabel.
Dude, King Mabel gets a lot of heat, but he did something right. Big Daddy V, right?
Yeah, Viscera too.
Absolutely. Cam, did you go?
Yeah, I went.
Cam went, Ricky went, Bo went. My 4. I've got Austin in the 1 spot because I feel like him winning in '96 was the catalyst and the kickstart to the Attitude Era. I feel like that was, a lot of people put it in that 96 to 97 range. I really think him starting in '96 with the Austin 316 stuff was kind of that kicking point. You know, that's where they say the cusp is, like the end of the golden era going into the Attitude Era. Like, it was Austin's promo is that cusp. Mm-hmm. Second was Macho Man, because I think he had the best gimmick for the Macho King. Like, he was the guy that had the absolute best Macho King gimmick. 3 is Booker T, because he was the second best person to play the King gimmick behind Macho King. So Austin, Macho Man, Booker T. And then the sleeper in that 4th spot, I put Kurt Angle in my list too, because of my endearing redheaded co-host. I had been sleeping on a lot of Kurt Angle stuff. I was never a big Kurt Angle guy when I was younger anyways. Going back and rewatching his work now, I brought up the Shane O'Mac match at King of the Ring 2000 against Kurt Angle. Phenomenal fucking match. You know, so I put Kurt Angle up there. Go ahead, Bo.
That's the year he won King of the Ring. He wrestled twice that night.
You're the man. Al, you got a list for us?
I'm just going to pull one out of my ass.
Uh-huh.
Because honestly, I haven't really seen a lot of the King of the Ring stuff. So my list is based upon how much I like the person.
Fair.
So in the number 1 spot, we're going to put Randy Savage.
Macho King.
Number 2, I'm going to put Booker T, because who doesn't kind of love Booker T?
King Truth. What's up, Just? Thanks for checking in on YouTube.
Number 3, I'm going to put Edge, because I love Edge, and fuck it, who cares? It's my list. I do what I want. And number 4, I'm going to do, just because I love him with my whole heart, Xavier Woods. I'm sure that's the worst King choice ever, because they didn't fucking do anything with it. But
Yeah.
He was funny as King.
I loved the Hand of the King thing and coming out with like the scrolls and the pamphlets and stuff. Like all of that was fantastic.
Yeah.
King Billy Gunn can kiss my royal ass. I did a show the other night for Wreckage, and we were talking about our least favorite kings, and I was like, Billy Gunn. Because even in 1999, like 14-year-old Will was like, what fucking sense does this make to make Billy Gunn the king of the ring? Like, what the hell? Like,
The king of moonsaults.
Yeah.
Shooting star presses.
All right, guys, we did it. We made it. Just like every good wrestling match, though, we didn't hit our times tonight. I usually run a tighter ship, but the conversation was too good to cut you guys off. I love every single one of you. This is where we shut up, though. We're going to plug ourselves so we can land this plane. King Ricky, lead us off. Tell everybody what's going on at Kings of the Rings.
Yes, folks, ladies and gentlemen, this is King Ricky Rose, your host of Kings of the Rings podcast and general manager of Wrestle Addict Radio. You can find Kings of the Rings podcast at KOTR_podcast across all social media outlets. Like, share, subscribe, leave 5-star reviews. We do have a live episode coming out tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern time, featuring Will Gray of Botched Spots and Chair Shots podcast and Rivet City Radio. So Will Gray will be joining me tomorrow night on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, along with, I believe, my other co-host Kayfabe, because my other Will, who I really don't care about, don't tell him, is away. So I have the right Will with me this time as well. Wrestle Addict Radio is also home to not only Kings of the Rings podcast, but also the Fretzelmania podcast, the Young Lions Perspective podcast, and the Brace for Impact Wrestling podcast, where I believe he is reviewing along with Mr. Fretzelmania. I think they're doing Turning Point from like 2008. They're reviewing tomorrow from TNA as well. So that's coming out. That'll be out by midnight tonight on the East Coast. Find Wrestle Addict Radio at addict_wrestle on Twitter, because someone stole Wrestle Addict Radio from Twitter. Fuck them. And at Wrestle Addict Radio everywhere else across social media. You can find me personally at Ambassador Biggs, BIGZ, Ambassador Biggs, across all social media outlets: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, some people's DMs, less people's text messages. King Ricky Rose at Ambassador Biggs.
I love you, Ricky. Love you too, buddy. Cam, you're up.
Well, you can find me here in the next couple of hours, right here on Rivet City Radio with the Table Spot after Monday Night Raw with Mike and Sean. And of course, you can find me right here every single Wednesday night with The Boom after AEW Dynamite. And then you can find me on our sister page on Off the Top Media every single Friday night with Friday Night Review with Scowls and our ever revolving door, the third or fourth person that we have on the show, Jamie or whoever decides to pop up. And then on the socials, you can find me on TikTok at Cam's Wrestling Corner. Call me Cam G, and of course, Cam's Squared Circle Mania. You can find me on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, at Cam and Cheese 317. And if that does not sizzle your bacon, you can find me on Instagram at 317 Bacon, Eggs, and Cam.
Why do you look so confused, Al?
No, I'm just mildly horrified by something I just found on Facebook.
What did you find on Facebook?
So,
Curious.
there's a women's wrestling promotion here in Tennessee called Custom Vixens, where you pay these women to perform a wrestling match that goes exactly the way that you want it to. So you book the match for 5 minutes. It's $100, but with a fetish, it's $125.
You know what this is? This is that Japanese in your apartment wrestling shit that Kenny Omega used to do, where you could book women to come in and wrestle in your apartment.
Well, no, they only send videos.
Oh no, he used to do this thing in Japan where he would book women to go to your apartment and wrestle in your apartment in front of you.
I don't like Kenny Omega.
Like we should try to interview somebody from that promotion.
Hannah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Hannah runs it? No,
but she's done it.
Oh, good God! I'm gonna message Mama Hannah.
That is an interesting.
They're based out of Chattanooga. It's a 423.
I wonder if we could get them on the show, guys. Bo, you're up. As you put mashed potatoes in your mouth.
Sorry, I'm just like flabbergasted by the fact that like how fucking cringe this is.
We don't yuck any yums around here.
Well, there's no segue from that. So I'm
anywhere
anywhere.
This episode, man.
Yeah, I'm anywhere and everywhere. Tomorrow night, Off the Top Media for NXT on tap. Anywhere else, follow me on Twitter, Jaxpo 2020. Hit the link tree, you can find everything there.
Al.
You can find me on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at justagirl918. I have a new figure I kind of want to find. This one's going to be really difficult. I would like a Ryback.
Not going to be difficult at all.
we
Because
got him in spades.
When I do the Ryback moment, I want to start filming my figure with the sound of his TikTok.
Oh my God, do stop motion animation, please.
Yeah, with the TikToks, yeah.
Yes, please.
Jesus.
That
next level Ryback moment.
Yeah.
So, if anybody has a Ryback there wanting to donate or can find me one that's not expensive,
shouldn't forget it's all of them.
I will be opening it.
Making a TikTok. Like the one you, what was the one your solo that you opened where you like,
because the package wouldn't open. Anyway.
All right, I'll make it short and sweet then since it's my turn. Remember to follow us anywhere you do anything on the internet, Instagram, Facebook, iHeartRadio, Google, Spotify, literally Stitcher, if that's still around. Like, you have all the options. There's a couple links in the description on YouTube and Discord. The first one is Discord link. That's a link to all the producers and hosts and all those things on Rivet City Radio and Off the Top for our Discord link. The other one is our merch link. You can get everything from hats and shirts and, fanny packs to boxers with Bo's face on them, whatever you need. There are two things that are super important. The first being Amazon Prime. I mentioned it earlier. If you have Amazon Prime, you get a Prime Gaming subscription. With that Prime Gaming subscription, you can give it to any Twitch streamer. That's us, that's Off the Top, that's Creation World, that's She Elite, that's Boyfriend Time, or, Kings of the Rings, or the Wolfpack podcast. Just give it to any of my friends. Just don't let it go back to Amazon because Jeff Bezos has too much money. Patreon.com/Rivet City Radio is the lifeblood of the network. You get ad-free playback up until Cinema Club watch-alongs. Eventually, me and Jax will probably do one. Yeah. The Delicious as Fuck cookbook, articles, news, all of those things. Guys, gals, she's, theys. What do we got going on? Anybody got anything for the class?
Nope.
The link to custom Vixens Wrestling is in the
Wow. No free shout outs.
No, because if I have to see it, y'all have to see it.
No free shout outs, but go check out Custom Vixen Wrestling, apparently. Anything for the class, guys?
No, I'm good.
Well, now as we close another episode of Botched Spots and Chair Shots, we'll take a minute. Thank you for listening. Remind you to go wherever you do anything on the internet, like, follow, subscribe, unsubscribe, and subscribe again. Leave a comment telling me that we're going to be on Kings of the Ring tomorrow night and Trivia's on Thursday, or that Cam has the best beard and wrestle talk. Either way, it helps the algorithm and it helps find new listeners. If you're feeling really generous, be one of the VIP people, head over to patreon.com and donate to the Rivet City Radio Podcast Network. You get some fantastic swag. We get some fantastic guests. It's a win-win for King Ricky Rose, for the beard, Cam G, for everybody's favorite Ginger Ninja Jaxbo, and for the boss bitch Al, I am the Will Gray. Thanks for stopping by and listening, my people.
Bye.